Hey everybody, we are officially live for the first mentor workshop of the fall semester. We're going to get started in 6 minutes. So if you are watching the recording of this first workshop, please feel free to fast forward by 6 minutes. We will get started in just a moment. But I'm so excited to dive in. I'm so grateful to have you here as a mentor. If you're joining, if you are tuning in, love to see you there. Love to see you at the live version of our mentor workshop. But yeah, we're going to get started in just 6 minutes. But thank you all for being here. We're going to get started shortly. I'm just emailing my colleague Tommy to let him know that the YouTube link is live. Perfect. There it is. Alrighty, y'all. My colleague Tommy to sending him the email now to send out to you all. Perfect. There we are. All right, everybody. Has everyone had a good start to their week so far? We got Friday tomorrow. We got hopefully maybe some fun things going on. If you are tuned in and you're watching, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Alrighty, but yeah, as I mentioned, if you are watching the recording of this, please feel free to fast forward by about 4 minutes. We're going to get started at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Pacific. We're going to get started in just a moment. And I will keep an eye on the chat. So if anybody asks any questions in the chat, if anybody has any comments, if anybody has anything to share at all, please feel free to share it in the chat and I will answer your questions. We got 4 people tuned in. That is fantastic. I'm just going to text Tommy to make sure that the message and email has gone out to everybody. We got 6 people watching. Excellent. If you all could introduce, where are you from? I personally live in Austin, Texas. I actually drove to Houston today. We've got an upcoming executive symposium in Houston later this month. And so I was just checking out some venues. It looks like we're going to host it at Accenture, which we're really excited about, which is just fantastic. But if you all could, where are you from? Introduce yourselves. I'd love to see it. Hey, Melissa. Just leaving work, so I'll be listening from your car on your ride home. Fantastic. Melissa, where are you tuning in from? Where are you located or living? And by the way, if everyone else could introduce yourself in the chat and where you're from, that would be awesome. If you're watching the recording of this, just an FYI, you can fast forward by 3 minutes. We'll get started in 3. Hey, Tammy, you're originally from Chicago, but have been living in Dallas for 5 years now. That's awesome. Very cool. I go up to Dallas periodically. We host events called executive symposiums in Austin, Dallas, and Houston. And so I come up pretty to different areas like Dallas and Houston periodically. Melissa, where is Wilkes-Barre? Oh, Pennsylvania. Perfect. Oh, you know what? I actually think my uncle used to live in Wilkes-Barre in Pennsylvania. I don't remember what neighborhood he was in. He eventually moved down to Florida, but I don't know, he liked warm weather and that sort of fun stuff kind of as a retirement thing. But I do remember as a child going to, I believe it was Wilkes-Barre in Pennsylvania. Always had great Philly cheesesteaks there. Hey, Drury, welcome from Maryland. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. 2 minutes till we get started. But yeah, if everyone else could share, where you're from. And if y'all did anything fun over the summer, if y'all traveled anywhere cool, did anything fun, I'd love to hear about it. Post in the chat. Hey, Jason, welcome. Thousand Oaks, California. Very cool. Home of California Lutheran. Very nice. Very nice. San Francisco Bay Area, Silicon Valley, Stephen. Very nice. Well, welcome, everybody. We're going to start in just 1 minute. Kirk, South Carolina, very nice. Did anybody travel anywhere fun over the summer? Zachary, welcome from DC, but you've been in Houston since 2016. I was in Houston earlier today, just got back. Congratulations, Tammy, on finishing your MBA. That's amazing. Jason, traveled for 2 months in the US. Oh, nice. 21. So you know what, Jason, that's really cool. I feel like there's a lot that I could learn. I don't have kids yet. My wife and I plan on working on that very soon. And you know, one of our concerns, and I don't know if it's founded or not, as someone who doesn't have kids, you know, there's all this, you know, nervousness about what it's going to be like. Will you be able to travel with children? Sounds like you were able to make it work, and that's awesome. I think that's so cool. I think one thing, you know, I love, you know, about maybe not having children, at least at this point in time in my life, is that I've got a lot of flexibility to travel and go places. And, you know, maybe a fear, maybe it's unfounded, I don't know, I'm still learning, is will I be able to actually travel with children? But it sounds like you were able to do that, and I just think that's so awesome. Mark, Walnut Creek, California, welcome. Josh, Boston City, Louisiana, love it. We got people from all over the country, and it is officially time. It is 6 o'clock here in Austin, Texas, 7 on the East Coast, 4 on the West Coast, 5 in Colorado. Let's get started. So first off, I just wanted to thank you all for being mentors this semester. I'm going to share with you research on why being a mentor is so important. I'm going to share with you why being a mentor is so important, how you can be a successful mentor for this program this upcoming fall semester. And I'm going to share with you just suggested questions you can ask your students to just help keep them engaged. We have 4 workshops over the course of the semester. So we've got one today, we've got one in a week, we've got one, I believe, on the first Thursday in November, and then one the week right before Thanksgiving. And in those workshops, I cover suggested questions you can ask your student and your mentee to help, you know, maybe pull some things out of them. I'll cover, you know, best tips and tactics and tricks you can use to be the best mentor you possibly can be. Because we do this live, I'm here. If you've got any questions, post them in the chat. I like to be here to help support and provide any guidance as you can. And if you're watching the recording of this, just feel free to email Tommy at support. He can answer all of your questions about this. So what I'm going to cover today is first our story, our background, and how we got into all of this work. So background on me, you might be wondering, okay, who am I? I'm Garrett Mintz. I'm the founder of Ambition in Motion. My team and I started studying mentor relationships in 2013, and really what caused people to get along with each other in a mentor relationship. Now, I got involved in this because I personally needed mentors in my life. By that, I just mean from age 15 to age 19, I was a drug dealer. And at the end of my freshman year at Indiana University, I got arrested. I received 5 felony distribution charges. I was expelled from school, and I was facing prison time. Life hit a brick wall. I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no idea where I was going to go. But I fortunately had some people in my life who saw something in me that I didn't quite see in myself. And they gave me some opportunities. The first opportunity came, shortly after getting in trouble, about 2 months after getting in trouble, I discovered a program in St. George, Utah called At the Crossroads. It's for young men and women at the crossroads in their life. And I was fortunate enough that I was able to get enrolled in that program and be able to just start taking steps towards getting sober, but also just making more productive decisions in my life. And about a month and a half after moving to St. George, I flew back to Chicago. That's where my family's from, to let them know my life's getting on track. And on that flight, I was sitting next to a guy, and I was also reading the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. If you've not read it, it's a great book. If you have read it, you already know about it. It's awesome. One of my favorite books. And this guy noticed I was reading How to Win Friends and Influence People. And he asked me about it. He asked me why I was reading it. He was surprised that I was reading it. And he just took a keen interest in me. And I started asking him questions about his work. He started asking me questions about my goals and aspirations in life. And by the time the plane landed, he said, "Oh, by the way, I'm the director of ground equipment for SkyWest Airlines. what would you think about coming in and doing an internship in our ground equipment department? Just like on the spot, offered me an internship. And he stuck his neck out for me and he gave me an opportunity, and he really helped me see what I could potentially do with my life and my career, even though I had made some poor choices in my life. Well, in that program I was in Utah, I wanted to help other young men and women who had made similar choices as me. So I started connecting, I essentially started a nonprofit helping connect those young men and women who had made similar choices with drugs and alcohol, connecting them with business leaders in the community for mentorship. And I fell in love with it. I love the idea of connecting students and professionals together. I love the idea of helping people see opportunities where maybe they didn't even realize there was opportunities there. And I just became passionate about it. Well, the court system ended up seeing that work I was doing with the nonprofit, and they ended up dropping my felonies to a misdemeanor conviction. I got incredibly lucky, and I ended up getting back into the Kelley School of Business at Indiana University. And shortly thereafter, I started Ambition in Motion. And the initial idea for Ambition in Motion was, how can I help students really minimize additional semesters of college? I had friends who were taking an additional semester, an additional year, and it just was so expensive. And I wanted to see if I could connect them with mentors, similarly to what I was doing in Utah, that might be able to help them figure out what path they wanted to go down. And so I started doing that. I initially was just a matchmaker, connecting college students with local professionals for mentorship. And then eventually some of those mentors came to me and said, hey, Garrett, some of the students, they said, hey, I'm happy to be a mentor, but some of the students you've connected me with are more prepared than others. Some students maybe come into the meetings late, or maybe they don't have prepared questions to ask, or they've maybe not done ample proper background research on me coming into this meeting. Is there anything you could do to maybe help prepare some of these students for these mentor relationships? And I said, hey, hear you loud and clear. So I started running these on-campus workshops at Indiana University, where I was helping students use LinkedIn, get their foot in the door, prepare with questions they can ask their mentor, do things that they can help them just prepare mentally for how to network in a genuine way, and really just make the most out of their first job and internship. Well, one of those students in those group meetings was a young woman. She was the director of alumni relations for her sorority. And she came to me and said, hey, Garrett, my sorority is tearing down our house, and we are building back a new house. We would like you to do this program that you're doing for all these students in Indiana University, but just for our sorority house. We love to connect our students with our alumni, and maybe that might get those alumni to donate back to our sorority house. But at minimum, it just can get them more engaged with, what's going on with the sorority. Well, their national headquarters heard about it, and more fraternities and sororities and honor societies and universities started hearing about us. And we grew to hundreds of campuses nationwide. And that was just an incredible opportunity for us to study what works and what doesn't work in a mentor relationship. And so one of the things that we learned was this traditional model of just pairing people based on what they do was not effective for mentorship. Don't get me wrong. What you do is a critical element. Taking students who want to get into finance, or want to get into accounting, or want to get into entertainment, or want to get into medicine, or any field, that is a critical component to the mentor relationship. But this area of research that we found was so critical to successful mentorships is this area of research called work orientation. So I'm going to show my screen, and some of you have already started seeing your work orientation if you've logged onto your dashboard. But work orientation is how you view your work. So I'm going to screen share here. Some people view the work as a job, some people view the work as a career, and some people view the work as a calling. If you're job oriented, it means you're motivated by work-life balance. If you're career oriented, it means you're motivated by growth and learning new skills. And if you're calling oriented, it means you're motivated by impact. There's not a right or wrong work orientation. It's not good or bad. It's on a spectrum, so you could be in between categories. And it's fluid, meaning that where you were 5 years ago could be very different from where you're at today. But what we learned is that when two people's work orientations are aligned at this given moment in time, the likelihood that relationship lasts for 6 months and is considered productive and quality is 4 times greater than if it's just based on what you do. Essentially, why you do your work and why your student does their work, or why your mentee does their work, has a huge impact, and that alignment has a huge impact on the success and longevity of your mentor relationship. So if you're motivated, let's say, by work-life balance, your mentee is also going to be motivated by work-life balance, and your goals, your motivations, your ethos is going to be in greater alignment. Whereas if you're career-oriented, you're motivated by growth. You want to take on more responsibilities, learning new skills. Same thing. And if you're calling oriented, it means you're motivated by impact. You're motivated by having a positive impact on your community and the world and the people you serve. If your students align with that as well, that's huge. Now, obviously, we've got a finite number of mentors and a finite number of students, so we can't make perfect matches for all of our mentor pairings. But this work orientation is from our industrial organizational psychology research, something that we identified was critical to the success and longevity of those mentor bonds. So once we grew to all those campuses, I ended up partnering with Jake and Kyle. Jake is just finished his PhD in cognitive and behavioral psychology at Penn State, and Kyle is an industrial organizational psychologist and professor at Kansas State University. They have been on our team and with us for almost 10 years now. And so we've been studying a variety of factors as to what causes mentor relationships to be long lasting and to be productive and quality. And this area of research, work orientation, was a huge element to this. So that's how and why we paired you together with your mentee. So I know some people had asked questions like, why did you pair us together? That's a big factor. Now, we also looked at what you do for work, what your undergraduate major was, what your student's undergraduate major is, and what they want to do for work. But the number one factor we looked at was work orientation and the science behind why two people get along with each other in a mentor relationship. One other thing I wanted to mention is that we've also expanded this mentor relationship and this mentor research. So one thing that we've been studying is mentorship and how it relates to leadership. So if any of you are in a leadership role, or if you've got a boss that you think might be interested in learning about mentor research, we've created a lot of cool opportunities for leaders to continue their development and growth through executive mastermind groups, which is just like a mentor program, but with other executives outside of your company. We created an AIM Insights program, which essentially what that does is it helps leaders get a pulse on their direct reports and provides coaching and guidance to leaders to help increase their team's productivity and their performance over time. We also have a certification that goes with that too, so it's pretty cool if any of y'all are interested. And then we do mentor programs within companies. And so if you're thinking to yourself, man, my company would love to have a mentor program, let us know. Email Tommy, email me. We'd love to chat with you about that. But we've studied mentor relationships and really have extrapolated that and expanded that into the leadership realm, because if you're a great leader, you're typically also a great mentor. Those skills tend to go together. So let's talk about some data and why being a mentor is so critical. So what we know is that college students who have a mentor are nearly 3 times as likely to thrive in their livelihoods than students who don't have mentors. College students who have mentors through their organization show greater levels of positive emotional feelings towards their organization as an alumnus. And college students who have mentors are 32% more likely to be engaged in their work compared to students who don't have mentors. This is according to the Gallup Purdue Great Jobs, Great Lives report. Essentially, by being a mentor, you may think, oh, I'm just having a few conversations with this student, or I'm just, I'm here to be a Sherpa or a guide to the student. I don't know how impactful I am. I'm telling you, the research shows that your work as a mentor, just being there, just to have a conversation, to ask questions, to help them clarify their situations, has a major impact on their long-term success as a student. So I just wanted to let you know how grateful I am that you are a mentor this semester, because it really does have a huge impact on students. There is research that backs this up. Outside of the impact to the students, being a mentor is extremely rewarding in the sense that it can teach you new things and provide you with somebody in which you can bounce things off of. By being a mentor, it's a really powerful and impactful thing that you're doing. And I just wanted to let you know how grateful I am that you are volunteering your time to be a mentor this upcoming semester. So I just wanted to let you know how appreciative I am that you are a mentor. So let's talk about the 3 keys. Actually, let me take a moment to pause, see if y'all have any questions of anything I've shared with you so far. Just looking through the notes here, looking through the chat. Jason, traveled for 2 months in the US with your 20 months. Oh, perfect. Yeah, I remember that. Chelsea, Los Angeles. Love it. Drew, thanks for sharing. That's great. Kelsey, Bloomsburg, PA, Cassidy Curl, Chicagoland area. Very nice. I grew up in the Chicagoland area. I grew up in a town called Flossmoor, Illinois, if anybody knows where that is. Small town, south side of Chicago. Very nice. Riverside, California. Jenny, very nice. New Mexico, Jennifer. Changwook from New York City. Thanks for being here. Connecticut, Joshua, thanks for saying. Jenny, 28. Okay, great. Perfect question. Jenny, you're 28, your mentee is in their 40s, and you fear that the age gap will be a barrier in the mentor relationship. Any suggestions? A lot of suggestions. One, at the end of the day, your mentee is not looking for you to have the answers. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions from a mentor relationship is we sometimes think that as mentors, we need to have the answers to all their questions. That is completely false and incorrect. As mentors, we need to have the best questions. The best mentors ask the best questions. When in doubt, they get curious. That's what we can do as the best mentors possible, is be curious whenever people have scenarios and things. So I'm going to provide you, by the way, with suggested questions you can ask. And in each of these subsequent workshops, I will give you suggested questions. But at the end of the day, if you ask great questions, your mentee will not care how old you are, because that age is not going to be a critical element. I can give you a perfect example. One of the things that we do is we run these executive mastermind groups. The average age of the leaders in our executive mastermind groups are in their 50s and 60s. I'm 31 years old, but they respect me and the other leaders in our executive mastermind groups just as much as anybody else, because of the questions we ask them. If we can be curious, if we can be inquisitive, if we can ask questions that help them think deeper about their situations, we can be incredible mentors for the people that we are mentoring. So Jenny, I think that's a really great question. I hope that helped answer it a little bit. And I'm going to give you more suggestions with actual legitimate, tangible questions you can ask, but hopefully that just gives you a starting point for things you can do to be the best mentor you can be for your mentee, even if there is an age gap. Yeah, Chelsea, thanks for sharing. Last time I had an age gap with my mentee as well, but it wasn't a barrier because we were both very open and clear about what we needed. Yes, lots of questions in the first meeting. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Chelsea. I really appreciate when other mentors jump in and can share just personal experiences from a mentor relationship, and why, you know, it can be easy to have beliefs about certain things when, you know, you're just getting started as a mentor, but having other mentors to reinforce that, you know, having an age gap or maybe not being the best expert in that area does not mean you are a bad mentor or that you can't be a good mentor to this mentee. What's so critical is that we ask great questions. That's what's one of the most powerful things we can do. So there are 3 keys from what we've observed in facilitating mentor relationships for over the last 10 years now. Crazy to say that, but over the last 10 years, we've been facilitating mentor relationships, thousands of mentor relationships. There are 3 keys to being a successful mentor. They are your strategy, your story, and your state. And I said them in reverse order of importance. Now, for those of you who've been mentors before, you know this spiel. For those of you who've never been here, this is a lot of fun. This is one of my favorite parts of these workshops, but I always like to reinforce the 3 keys to being successful as a mentor. The first is state. What state are you coming into your mentor relationship? Now, we're busy professionals. We've got a lot of things going on. It can be easy to come in maybe a little tired, maybe a little jaded, maybe a little sad, mad, angry, dejected. But as mentors, it's critical that we physically get ourselves into a state conducive to being a successful mentor, because our mentee can read that body language. They can read that even if it's on the phone, even if it's via video chat, even if we can do it in person, that's great. But I recognize that might not always be the case. But they can perceive our vocal intonation and our body language, especially for on video chat, based on where we're at. So what we can do to become the best mentors and put ourselves into a state conducive for being successful is to get our body and our blood flow. There are special physical tips and tricks you can do to get yourself to there. So you can do things like a power pose. You can do things like fake laughing. One of the things that I like to do is I like to dance around, scream, and jump around. And we're going to do that right now. So what I like for everybody to do is for everybody to stand up. And for the next 10 to 15 seconds, I want you to shake it out, shake it loose. And then eventually at the end of it, scream at the top of your lungs. That will just show, it'll get your dopamine flowing and your endorphins going. But yeah, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Stand it up, shake it out, shake it loose, get it going, get it out, get your arms going, get your legs going, get your head going, get it all going. And then I want you to scream at the top of your lungs in the next 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Let it out, let it loose, let it go. That is my favorite part of these workshops. It is just getting me going. I like to pound my chest like I'm King Kong sometimes. And it just, what it does is it gets my body into a physical state conducive for being successful. It gets me energetic going into any conversation that I'm about to go to. By the way, this is key to being successful beyond just mentor relationships. This is in anything. You're going into an interview, you're wanting to go into a meeting, you're going to a sales call. You want to come in with the body language and the physical endorphins conducive for getting a positive result with whomever you're meeting with. You want to give off positive energy, positive vibes, positive state. That's one way we can do it. Shake it out, scream at the top of your lungs, let it loose, get that blood flowing. It is critical to giving off a positive first impression when meeting with your mentee. The second key, story. What is the story you tell yourself for why you will or will not be successful? This is something that I've heard before. So, one thing is like, oh, what if there's an age gap? Other things I've heard are like extrovert versus introvert. Like some people think like, oh, I'm an extrovert. I'm just crazy around people. I couldn't possibly be a mentor. I just get distracted all the time. Or, oh, I'm an introvert. I get drained from being with people. I can't be sociable. These are not impediments to being a good mentor. Being a good mentor is a skill, something that as you practice, you become better at over time. This means the questions we ask, the way we listen to our mentee, the way that we interact, the way that when we get in doubt, we get curious. These are things that if we practice, we can become really, really good at. It's a skill, not a thing that we're born with. This isn't height. This isn't speed. This isn't the ability to jump, although I guess those things you can practice and become better at. This is something that with practice, you become better at. And so ultimately, if you can practice asking great questions, if you can tell yourself a story why you're going to be a great mentor, that is something that you can use to become successful. So I'd like to ask the question to everybody that's watching here. Post in the comment section, why will you be a great mentor for your mentee? I'd like to learn. Post in the comment section, why will you be a great mentor for your mentee? I want to know. I want to learn. Because that story we tell ourselves, if we tell ourselves a story like, hey, I couldn't possibly be a good mentor, that's the outcome we're going to manifest. We tell ourselves I can be a great mentor. We are much more likely to manifest that outcome than any other outcome, because what we tell ourselves is much more likely to be the outcome we achieve than any other thing possible. So why will you be a great mentor? Post it in the comment section. Ada from Phoenix, thanks for being here. Yeah, Josh, motion creates emotion. Man, you've been to Tony Robbins. I love it. Or I'm assuming you've been to Tony Robbins. But yeah, our emotions create emotion. That's exactly right. Tony Robbins is where I learned a lot of these core things at. So I'm a big fan. So I can tell that you've done some reading. You've maybe been to Unleash the Power Within. I love it. But post in the comment section, why will you be a great mentor? I want to learn your story. Love it. Jennifer, you got a lot of curiosity and you like helping solve problems. I love that. I love that. Chelsea, I'll be a great mentor because I'll be the support to someone that I wasn't fortunate enough to have. I love that. I mean, yeah, here's the thing. When we have someone that is there for us, it can be the catalyst for paying it forward. It's so powerful. Drury, always good to pay it forward. I understand the importance of being a mentor and being that sounding board and vent. I love it. Josh, to be your compassion. I love it. Zach, I love to see people succeed and be a part of that process. Exactly. I mean, that's fantastic. These are all amazing stories for why you will be successful as a mentor. Thank you for sharing. I love it. I mean, that's what this is all about is being there for people. Cassidy, I like to share knowledge and experience that you've had. I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Melissa, you're a good listener. That's fantastic. I mean, that's so critical to being a good mentor is it's not about the answers we give. It's about the questions we ask and the ability to listen to their situations. It's so powerful. Jason, because you believe in reaching back and lending a helping hand to the person behind you who's been trying to figure it out just like you did. And you are. And I love it. And I appreciate that vulnerability with that I am still figuring it out. Because by the way, I'm still figuring, everyone's figuring it out. We're all still growing to getting to the next level and getting to the next perspective. And I just, so grateful to have you all as mentors, because I want to provide, Stephen, because you want to provide someone with your same support that was provided to me by your mentor. And Kirk, I'm goal-oriented and I have a passion for helping others. I love it. I love it. Thank you all for sharing these stories. That is fantastic. So the last key is your strategy. What is the strategies you will deploy to being the best mentor you can be? So the questions you ask. Maybe sometimes you get to a point where you're stumped and you're thinking to yourself like, gosh, how can I help this student in need? Use these workshops. That's what these workshops are for. Keep coming to these workshops, because during these workshops, I will cover suggested questions you can ask to get on the same page with your mentee and maybe work through some challenges like accountability, finding balance, identifying a new vision for yourself, having a new perspective. These are all things that we can definitely help with. So absolutely, that's what this is all about. So one thing I want to cover is how we're preparing the students for meeting with you. So I don't know if you recall from my story, but we had some mentors back in the early days of us pairing people together for mentorship where they said, hey, could you do some things to help pair your student together for this mentor relationship? So we do. So we run these AIM workshops, teaching students skills to prepare for their meetings with their mentors, with you. We bring in speakers from across the world to provide guidance and insight to these students. Our 4 workshops are how to get your foot in the door for professional opportunities, how to network in a non-transactional way, how to network in a genuine way, how to prepare for the interview, and then how to make the most out of the first job or internship. So those are the 4 workshops we have, and we've got great guest speakers for our students to just help talk about what they found to be effective. So we brought in like chief people officers to talk about interviews. We brought in executives to talk about how to get your foot in the door for professional opportunities. We brought in a lot of great leaders to talk about these different topics. And it's just so awesome to help these students manage these different outcomes that they're working towards. And now we also have an alumni mentee program. So you also might be mentoring someone who might have recently graduated. And in their case, they might be trying to figure out their path. Maybe they're trying to figure out, what is my next career move? What is my next career step? So we've got an alumni mentee program. And in that program, we have 4 workshops, also bringing in guest speakers, but the topics are a little bit different. So the topics are how to transition into management, how to know when the right time is to pursue additional education, how to know when the right time is to switch jobs, and how to manage conflict in the workplace. And by the way, all these workshops are alive and available in public on our YouTube channel. So if any of y'all are interested in watching them, you are more than welcome to watch them. They're available and accessible to you. We also on our YouTube channel also bring in panels and virtual panels and a lot of fun stuff talking about different leadership topics. So sometimes you'll see me talk about change management or leading adoption in a change environment and just different things that leaders are going through. If you're at all interested, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I love to share content on leadership, and if you find it intriguing or engaging, we'd love to see that, because like I said, we've extrapolated our mentor research and started applying it into the leadership realm. The goal of teaching the skills to the students is that we equip them to make progress professionally so that they can have options and pathways to their desired careers outside of solely just relying on you. It's a lot easier to mentor somebody when you are guiding them as opposed to having them put all their eggs in your basket when it comes to their internship search, their job search, or anything like that. So by having these workshops, we're helping prepare students for their next steps and giving them the guidance they need to be successful. So what to expect from your mentor relationship? We have recently made the mentor introduction. So hopefully you'll have scheduled your first mentor meeting. I like to have that first mentor meeting completed by mid-October. So maybe October 15th, 16th, 17th. I know that's coming up, but if you don't mind maybe putting in some suggested times to meet with your student, that can definitely help get the ball rolling. I'm a big fan of Calendly. I don't know if y'all have ever used it before. Calendly is amazing. It can help find mutually beneficial times. It's free. It's great. I highly recommend it. So if you have a Calendly, or if you're trying to think to yourself, I'm trying to fit, this meeting in between these things that I got going on, Calendly can be the best way to just really quickly look at your calendar when you're available and help that student slot in a time that works for you. You can expect your student to have varying degrees of progress towards their career goals. Some might be freshmen and just getting right off, started with their career path. Maybe they might even make a change in their career path during the semester. That's okay. You're just here to guide them and support them wherever they're going. This is also why we pair on work orientation and not just career path, because a student may determine that they don't want to be in the medical field anymore, or they want to be an accountant anymore. They don't want to be in finance anymore, or marketing, or wherever what they're trying to pursue. And that's okay, because you're not just trying to mentor them based on your field. You're mentoring them based on wherever they're at and wherever they're trying to go, however that may change. And that's why the questions are so powerful from a mentor relationship. They're not expecting you to have all their answers. The best mentors ask the best questions and take the time to listen. So we'll be running these workshops throughout the 12-week program. Like I said, our next workshop is next week, same time. After that, it'll be the first Thursday in November. And then after that, it'll be the Thursday right before Thanksgiving week. So I'd love to see you there, and yeah, I'd love to answer any questions you may have and help you work through these mentor relationships. If you can't attend a live session, no worries. All this is recorded. So if you want to rewatch this at a later date, or if you're rewatching this right now, this is on our YouTube channel. This is available for you. You can watch it whenever you want. Tommy, I know, emailed you this link, so you can always rewatch the recording of it. You just might have to fast forward by a few minutes, because in the first 5 minutes I'll allow for people to come in that intro period. So that is it. Those are all the key things to be covered in our mentor workshop this evening. I'm really appreciative of all of you being here. I'm just so grateful that you all are a mentor this semester. Like I said, there's a lot of research that shows that students who have mentors are much more likely to succeed in their careers, and I'm just so grateful to have you all as mentors here. I'm just going to look through the questions in the comment section here. Cassidy, to share knowledge and experience that you've had, I love it. Tammy, I'm very raw, authentic, and relatable, because we all have a story, and it helps people to feel supported. I love that. Melissa, because you're a good listener. Love this, actually. I think I've gone through some of these. Rosa Hoyman here in New Jersey, thanks for saying hey. Rocknell, had a great mentor who, even though he is no longer with us, still, oh, I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Rocknell. I really appreciate that, paying it forward. Leslie, I'll be a great mentor because I have a, if it's what meant to be, it's up to me. I love it mentality, and you look forward to sharing that with life perspective. I love that. I love that. Rosa, I love to help people who achieve their goals and also learn new insights and perspective from them. Tammy, I haven't been paired yet, so I seen it, so I sent an email earlier today. Yeah, Tommy can interact with you and work with you on that, Tammy. So we will work on that and getting that straightened out. Stephen, how often should I meet with my mentee? Great question. 3 times is what our expectation is for the course of the semester. I like to do 3 one-hour meetings. Now, if you and your mentee are hitting it off and you're open to meeting with your mentee more frequently than 3 times over the course of the semester, that is amazing. But our expectation, our ask is 3 one-hour meetings over the course of the semester. I recognize that you're busy and you've got a lot going on. And like I said, I'm just grateful that you're giving your time to be a mentor for this student. But if you're willing to spend more time with your mentee, that is amazing and super appreciated. But 3 is the required number for the student in this program to successfully complete it. Very cool. Dolores Lithuania, thanks for saying hey, Dolores. But everybody, thanks for being here. This was a great first workshop. I look forward to seeing you all in a week for our second workshop. In that workshop, I'm going to cover, I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to cover. In that workshop, it'll be a little bit shorter, so 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to cover how to help your student find balance and vision with their career path. So I'm going to give you suggested questions you can ask your mentee to help them identify vision for where they want to go and find balance within their life and their career, because I know for them it can feel like there's a lot going on, so many balls to juggle, and it can be difficult. This program, this set of questions can really help you get to the bottom of that. Well, everybody, thank you all for being here. Preferred platform for meeting with your mentor, Tammy, great question. Video chat, Google Meet, Zoom, Teams, whatever you prefer. Google Meet is free. That's the one I like to do. But you can do any video chat you're preferred. So Zoom, Teams, Google Meet, Skype, whatever you prefer. Video chat is better than phone call because at least you can see the other person. Body language is so critical. We communicate so much with our body language. Well, if there are no other questions, thank you all for your time. I look forward to seeing you all in a week. And once again, thank you for being a mentor. I really appreciate you. This has a huge impact on these students, and I know that you're really busy. So giving your time is super valuable and super appreciated. And if you are a leader or you're thinking to yourself, man, I think some of the other stuff that we're doing from a mentor research perspective could be applicable in your company, I'd love to chat with you about it, whether it be mentor programs, mastermind groups, our AIM Insights program. Would love to chat with you about that. But anyways, thank you for your time. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. See you, everybody.